So it's getting ready for live.
Hmm.
There's like a 20-second lag.
Okay.
What is that? I'm on my channel. Hold on.
Okay.
Oh, geez. Don't tell me that's the problem.
What's wrong?
I'm just gonna hold on. Oh, we're live actually. So
Oh. I just muted my phone because I don't want to like cause a.
so we should be live now. You seeing it?
I do see it. Okay. Yep, I see it, but I can't see any like. Let me see if I can see comments. All right. I'm not gonna really look at that too much.
So we should
Okay.
be good to go now.
It looks like there's a couple people on. I guess, or is that just you and me? Is anybody there?
If anybody can see the live, just let us know in the comments. That should
I'm just gonna say something here. Does my comment come up?
I'm not seeing it yet, but there's a little bit of a yeah, we're on. So we should be good. Let's get some answers. I want to check if we got some more questions. Yeah, I saw your comment.
Okay. Maybe people are just like gonna sign in later or they come in whenever they want to. So
So we're good. We're good to go. Okay. Okay, well, how are you, Donna?
that's a loaded question. You know, I'm good. I'm good, except for this, you know, I had that tooth extraction pain, but it's getting better. You know, it really like kind of put me out for a bit. I think like that was needed though, like needed to kind of like just bring my energy inward, and that definitely did it. Not wanting to be around many people. So things are good though. Otherwise, I think it's on the upswing now. How about you? You good? Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
What's going on?
It's good. It's definitely with all these energies and all these changes, and things are just moving in a very, you know, moving like very interesting. So
You see anybody on there? Is anybody there?
I don't
That
know, like uh, the connection.
it's a little laggy.
So let's maybe try to answer some questions.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's just because of the streaming. It's usually like that. But we can go ahead and just, start like talking about the energies and what's happening. Maybe you won't be able to stay on there for a very long time, but
Okay.
so we wanted to talk about how the energies and what's happening with how we manifest like our unions and how our unions are connected to the inner healing. So can you hear me?
Yeah,
Okay.
I can hear you. I thought you were still gonna talk.
I just want to make sure like there's not like a background echo.
Mm-mm.
I just want to make sure that the live has sound. Okay, so I think I'm gonna have to do something really quickly. Okay. Okay, so I think we're good to go. A little bit of technology bleeps here, but we should be good. So I think we were talking about how inner healing affects our unions and how that is essential for how twin flames use this expansive unconditional love energy to bring heaven on earth, and how that is, how we're all affected by these kinds of energies to change like the templates on earth. So so we received a question, for the session. So I can go ahead and ask it, or we can just, tap into the energies and see like what we can talk about when it comes to inner healing, how it changes everything in your union once you really tap into that inner healing.
Okay. It's whatever. I don't know what the question would be. Like, what kind of question was it?
Okay, let me just read the question. And it's a general question. It's not essentially for twin flames, but I feel that question is going to be very important when we talk about inner healing. So the question is, how can we stop having high expectations in people, situations, etc.? How can we overcome the disappointments that we face sometimes due to these high expectations?
Well, I mean, you got to break it down here. Like, really, like, what is an expectation? An expectation is the need for somebody to be something or do something. And if you're not getting that, you become disappointed, hurt, angry, or have an emotion that's not satisfying. So you got to kind of look at it from the standpoint of, why do I have this expectation? Kind of put it back on to yourself. Is there something that's not being met within yourself? Like there's an unmet need, because really what this is about is being able to fill our own voids and not expecting anybody else to do that for us. Now, there's different layers to that, there's different levels. Let's just kind of like maybe say, for instance, if you're in a relationship, and if you're in a relationship with a romantic partner versus like a relationship with a child, it's going to be a little different, right? I mean, it's both you're having unconditional love and that's kind of what you want to achieve, but it's just so much easier to have that with your child, right? But you still say, I have expectations of you. So for the purpose of this discussion, I think we need to kind of like make it more geared towards like the romantic partnership, since that's kind of what we're talking about, right? So I guess what we really need to look at is ourselves. And when you feel like you have some kind of unmet expectation and there's disappointment, you kind of have to go back to, again, what is it that I'm not getting? And why am I expecting somebody else to give that to me? The way that, you can kind of break. Oh, what was that? There was like an echo or something.
Okay.
The way that I feel like, the more that you heal within yourself, the less you expect of others, and it doesn't mean that you're lowering your standards, because you have certain, say criteria that you desire in a partner. Like maybe, you want to have somebody who is monogamous, you want to have somebody who is, has a career, like is like more career driven, somebody who has their own hobbies and things of that nature. So you have like things that you desire, but I don't feel like I wouldn't categorize them as expectations. It's just kind of like what you like. So if you have somebody that you're, with, and say, you could call it an expectation that they are, honest with you, that they are trustworthy. But those are kind of more like values, I believe, that you want in a partner. When an expectation is like, well, I need you to do this, or it's going to upset me if you don't do that. That's kind of a different thing. So I think like people might classify an expectation differently. I think it's kind of like how you relate to that is what I'm saying. So if we're looking at an expectation as, something that you expect somebody to do and they don't do it, then what are you going to do about it? Are you going to love them any less? Or, are you going to, leave, the relationship? It just really depends on what we're talking about, I think. But I think what I'm saying ultimately, when you use the term expectation, I don't feel like that is something that is in a 5D consciousness, because really an expectation is almost like you're judging somebody for doing something or not doing something. And when you're, when you're living from a heart consciousness, you don't really judge anybody. So you really don't have expectations of anybody. You have more or less maybe things like, I wouldn't even say expectations of yourself. You just have things that you are, that you have a certain, desire for, in order to achieve a goal. I don't know how to kind of like, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense, because I feel like that question is something that, especially for those on the sacred partnerships or sacred journeys towards love, or a journey towards finding the right partner or the right love situation for them. This is like one of the basic things that we have to heal in order for us to be able to open our hearts and manifest a higher form of a connection, right? Like this is when we start the connection, especially, if you have a sacred partner, or if you have a soulmate partner that you're meant to heal with, the idea of expectations is something that is a major, like it's a major layer that has to be healed. So so we can really like move ahead to like to other different kinds of layers, of course, but it definitely like as you said it like really, really well, the idea that an expectation is like you want someone to do something physically, like I want this person to be able to bring me flowers every morning or get me a Friday coffee, like, and all these expectations that you want someone to behave in a specific way, exactly the way you want it at the time that you want it, right?
Right.
So it's definitely like was an eye opener for many of us as we got into this journey from the beginning, because the person that you consider your sacred partner does not behave in that way at all. Like he or she, of course, and it's not gender specific, but both of you for each other mirror this idea that we don't really like what we thought and expected is not really there. And it's a big challenge, because a person that comes to you to open your heart can look different, can maybe, whatever you think the right person for you is or should look like, usually does not come in that form. And definitely like that, it's a huge like awakening point for many of us, especially like, the ones who have been on the sacred journey for a while.
Yeah. I mean, that is kind of like what we are, ascending to is the 5D relationship template. So an expectation is something that is a 3D really relationship template. That is something that is based in ego. It's not really based in, based or coming from your heart. It's more or less like something that you feel like you need, because it's something that's not met. It's kind of like that's something that has to be healed. And I feel like the best way of healing that is that, you have to start doing things and giving the things that you feel like you need from somebody else to give you to yourself, and that sometimes means that you have to be alone. I mean, look, we are all meant to be social creatures here on earth. We're here like having partnerships and collaboration and relationships, but you have to have a relationship with yourself first. So many people go from one person to another. They've never really been taught to kind of be independent in a way where, yeah, you can survive independently, but are you truly happy by yourself? Are you truly loving yourself? Are you dating yourself? Are you going places? Are you buying yourself flowers, and pampering yourself? If you do all of those things for yourself and really truly love yourself, I bet that you would have so many less expectations of others to do stuff for you, and let's call it your divine partner. You would have less expectation because you are fulfilling that need within yourself. And when you feel like your cup is full, that kind of relationship that will be mirrored back at you. So it won't be like something that's missing within you. You'll actually attract more of what you're giving to yourself. So I think that's kind of what, how you kind of get what you want, and it's no longer an expectation because you're not really expecting it. Like if you get it, it's an added bonus. It's kind of what you want, and it's kind of what you're attracting energetically to yourself. So say, for instance, you would love it if your partner, I don't know, made you dinner, or like if showed you love somehow, in a different way, because maybe you're questioning it. Maybe you just feel like you need that validation. If you think that you still like need that kind of validation, there's something inside of you that feels like there's some kind of insecurity inside of you that you have to have that external validation. If you start to work on yourself and heal those parts of you that perhaps, things from childhood, it's mostly stuff that stems from childhood wounding, adolescence, and, past relationships, even past lives. If you start to heal those things, then it won't be as much of an issue. It wouldn't be like something that you would really care about. You would just know, there would be just like a knowing. And the extras will just come, like, because that person who's with you wants to show you those things because they truly, truly desire you. So it won't really be for validation. It's just a different energy. It's going to be because you're emanating that love. You're emanating so much self-love that all that love is coming back to you in other forms from other people. So I don't.
Yeah, I mean, the key, like, because I mean, some people say, well, I do a lot of things by myself. Like, I do a lot of things by myself, but I mean, this, I still would, would like to have someone. I think that there's a big difference between being able to do things for yourself and feeling fulfilled through these activities. Then, I mean, we all love to have partners and and having someone with us when we're doing, like, as you said, like, we're social creatures. We love having a person, with us and a companion. But I feel like the more you're able to actually have this open capacity to be fulfilled by just enjoying who you are at that moment and not needing an external distraction, or like if you're able to bring in all your energy just to yourself, and instead of just focusing on others coming your way, I feel that's a huge, like, one of the major steps in like the first steps in starting to open yourself up for the higher levels of connections, and emanating, as you said, emanating this energy, which will attract the like to it. Like attracts like. So that's gonna be something that you're attracting to your energy field. People who are more like you at that moment in time.
Exactly. Yeah. And sometimes that means that, if you're with somebody and it's not working out because you feel like there's, such a big gap between you two, you're not getting your needs met, you're being disappointed. You feel like it's, perhaps you're the one who's always giving, and they're not, they're always taking and not giving back. It's very unbalanced. You kind of step back. You're going to have to step away from the relationship and start to focus on yourself and give yourself the things that you feel aren't being given to you, because it really is not self-loving to be in a place that you feel that you are constantly the one that is, doing 90%. And it's not, we're not keeping score or anything like that. But if you're starting to feel like that, then there is a problem. And it's just a matter of like having to step back and really like pulling your energy in and focusing on yourself, and you're doing your own inner work. And that may mean that you have to step away from that relationship for a little bit, until you get more balanced inside. Because if you're not balanced inside within, then your relationships are all going to look like that somehow, like if you're always like the person who wants to, heal other people, for instance, because those, for us who are on the twin flame path, or on the sacred path, a lot of us are empaths, right?
Yeah.
And we feel energy naturally. We feel the emotions of other people, and we naturally attract people who need to get healed. We're like, it's almost like an antenna that is, come here. It's like, kind of like, we're holding up a sign, I can heal you, kind of thing. So we naturally, like, other people who need healing or help gravitate towards us. So we have to be extra cognizant that we can attract those kind of people to us if we're not really conscious of it. And if we're not healed within ourselves, we're going to mistaken those people sometimes for something more than they are. And, and the thing is that this is the basis of every relationship. It's like when you can get yourself into this good place and, like you said, being fulfilled and happy and full of love within yourself without the external complement of a partner, you will attract the right partner. And if you already met that person, that partner, and things just aren't working out, for some reason, you have that push and pull, it's not balanced, again, you're just temporarily have to step away from it until you heal more of, what you heal more within. And then you'll see the dynamic of that relationship change if that person was meant to be in your life. Twin flame, sacred partner, soulmate, or whoever. We don't have to whatever label you use, it's still going to be, if that person's meant to be in your life, they will be in your life even better than it was. And if they're not, you won't even be attracted to that person anymore because you've healed so much. Then that person's just going to fall away, right? It's kind of like, could be just a karmic partner, and it could have been like a karmic pattern that you were healing. So I think that's kind of the basis of, any of these relationships, whatever you want to call them. If you're good on the inside, your relationships will show. And you know what? It's not like going to be perfect all the time. We heal in layers. So we're going to be shown different things. So something might come up that, you never even knew existed. And this person brings that up inside of you. That is really a big purpose in, having a relationship. So they can show you or mirror these things that are inside of you that you may not have known before if you were by yourself too. So it's everything's got a purpose, right?
Yeah. And like one thing, like when you were, with what you were saying, I kept hearing the word abandonment, because it's like one of the big things when someone, like, I think in, the way somehow we're raised and are like brought up in the society is like when someone leaves us, it and many of us, like even with whether it's past lives or, inner child wounds, it's the idea of being abandoned because in most of the time, like you feel when someone abandons you or sets, kind of steps away from you, you question, like, what did I do wrong? Or like, what's wrong with me? Why is this person not with me? And that in itself, again, brings up those issues within yourself where you need to heal this idea of someone is not abandoning you, but you're abandoning yourself in a way, like the mirroring of it and how that that person is reflecting something back to you about that you're feeling lost or abandoned or not good enough or not worthy of that person's time or that person's love back to you. So again, like I feel this is very much like some of the major and basic healing cycles that we, as whoever is on a journey for love has to go through in order for them to reach a point where you have more self-love, more self-confidence in your own self without being compared to anybody else. Just you are good as you are. So, and as you're whole in yourself, like, and you're enough for the right person. So I guess this is like if we can list some of the templates or some of the inner healings that we go through, it would be abandonment. What else? We can list abandonment, inner child,
rejection, unrequited love,
being unworthy, parental and family and family templates, like of what your right partner should look like. Like there are like some major ones that we definitely have to go through, and we go through these like in different layers and at different times. So we're not like, it's not only, sometimes it's like not one at a time, but like multiple ones and then multiple layers. This idea of like the cycle of the up and down, going through all of this until you reach a point where most of the stones have been turned, like no soldier left behind with the idea of all the healing things that we have to do to reach this point where you feel the union and you feel oneness and you get so connected to everything else around you. And whether a person is with you in physical or not, like you just know, like I know it and I have faith in it and I believe what's happening. Like you start to make all these connections that we're not just living this physical life, but the spiritual part is like the physical. They're both grounded within yourself.
Right. I think like also a key component of feeling whole, within ourselves is really tapping into, the universal energies and spirit, God, whatever you want to, whatever you call a higher source of power and wisdom. Because when you start to tap in to that energy, you just become more at peace and feel as though you're not alone, and you feel as though you're a part of something bigger. You feel the love, but it's like kind of getting to that place. So when you first start, on your, spiritual path, your spiritual journey, you're awakened, you kind of like, it's almost like a natural process to kind of want to pull away. And, you kind of just want to, be with yourself a little bit more. I know like when I first started this process, this journey, is that I did so much time alone and meditation and tapping into, these things that would come up inside of me, like these wounds. And, doing some of these guided meditations that I found on YouTube and doing a lot of inner child healing, I realized how much stuff was brought up that I didn't realize that needed to even be healed. Like I had no idea until like the vision started coming, and then the emotions behind it were there. And I had so many abandonment wounds, because of my childhood, stemming from different things that I didn't realize, I wasn't getting what I wanted in a relationship because I felt like I was disconnected. And when you feel like you're disconnected, how can you really connect with somebody else on that level? You can only connect with somebody as good as you are connected to yourself. So I never really, really felt like I had the right partner with me. I mean, at the time, when I was with other people, it was just almost like, it was so different. It was so different than when you start tapping into, divine wisdom and, the spirit. You're just like at a different level. And those relationships, those 3D relationships, they can no longer work anymore, because that's really just 3D. When you start ascending and you start feeling and tapping into, that love, that unconditional love, you start to feel it inside of you. And then you have to experience that. You don't want to experience anything less than that feeling with anybody else, because it's not even worth it, so it's kind of one of those things where there's so many different things that can really awaken you. If you meet your twin flame, you meet a soulmate, like a high degree soulmate, you meet or you have even like a near death experience. Like there's so many different things that can really awaken us. And, but what I mean, awaken us is awaken us to a higher consciousness, like there's something more here. And it's not religion. It's not like I'm saying, religious, because people can go to church or they can go to synagogue and, they can, that's just not, you could still do these things and not feel connected. It's like really like actually wanting to connect with a higher power is what I'm saying. And that's what these, soul connections do. They push us to that. And oftentimes that means that we're not with them for long periods of time, because we're supposed to be like, what are those? Like, I'm not gonna say like a monk or anything like that, but you know what I'm saying? They want to
nomad.
Nomad. Yeah, they would give you time to be on your own, to experience these things. Because if you had that person next to you all the time, you really wouldn't have the opportunity to experience it within for yourself first. So,
Yeah. So I mean, like it feels like the way, like when you meet, like, or have this point where you're meant to start more of your awakening to more of life, like this awakening point or this turning point in your life, whether, as you said, like meeting a person or having this experience, it's a way that in like apart from religion, this is a very like divine, like this is a way to find to find the divine and to be more connected to the universe. Because even through religions, and again, each person is different, but sometimes like the religion gets to be more like action items that we're supposed to do, but then your heart is not fully connected in a way. Or at least I feel like even with the awakening part, even like it connects you even better to your own religion or the way your spiritual path. It connects you better. It makes you see things in a bigger way, and you feel the divine in so many different ways, and you get this direct contact because you never feel alone. You get signs from the universe, and you start understanding. I mean, even understanding your religion in a much higher perspective. At least that was for me. Like, and I know probably maybe others might start seeing that, would have seen things in a similar way. But for me, even I had, my belief system, and I was very entrenched in it, and I definitely had my traditions and the knowledge. But going through my spiritual awakening and meeting my, a special person made me see things in such a bigger way. And the belief in many of the concepts that I learned as a child became very different. Different in a good way, because I started like becoming so integrated with the belief, like it's the knowing and feeling, the God's energy and everything that we do, and even seeing how magnificent it is. Because I didn't think of it and like I didn't see how big it is through maybe just the religion. I saw it, but didn't really fully understand how, like, all the things that connect to this energy. So, like, at least for me, like when I started my awakening, when I met my twin, like one of the main things that I had to heal within myself is feeling good enough, through my karmic relationships and like the things that I have been through. I never felt good enough. And I, definitely didn't feel good enough for my twin. Like, and I didn't feel entitled to be loved, or entitled to have this kind of love. I dreamt about it as a child and saw something in my future, but we all see, when we're younger, we see things, but we never really understand what's happening to us. But I could never really fully feel that, I'm able to have this kind of a connection. Like I couldn't believe, like I'm entitled, like I deserve to have this kind of love, or for some of it, like is it really real? um so it's definitely like some of the things that as twins, inner healing becomes like a part of your life, becomes like your everyday life, because you start to see how responsible you are for what's happening in your life. Like, through this journey, you not only take action, but you take ownership and agency in your life, and agency in what is really manifesting in your cycles. And who, how, what, you ask this question, like, if I don't like something about my life, a lot of us, maybe used to blame others for the way things are right now, or, oh, it's just the society. Oh, I'm just bad luck, or, things like that, or blame others, or blame the external influence, and feel helpless to make any change. But I feel like one of the main things that we learn through the inner healing is how we become empowered in making choices in our life, and how our choices can really make a long-term change to be where it to have our life be where we would like it to be, and even much much better than what we imagine. Because we keep focusing the energies on ourselves, keep healing all the layers that come up, and just follow divine guidance as we go, literally the breadcrumbs. And no matter what we expected, what we think is going to happen, it turns out to be so much more and better in so many ways. Because the divine and the universe rewards you for your hard work, and the pain and the tears and the inner work, with a much better gift, much bigger gift than what you imagine. So
Absolutely. Yeah, it's committing. It's really like the first thing that you have to like, understand about any kind of soul partner, sacred partner, twin flame or whatever. It's not only a commitment to that other soul, it's a commitment to yourself. And if you are a true twin flame, you really share one soul, one higher consciousness, your one energy field. And it's the thing is that you're so exact in, like how your spiritual DNA is, that it's like being home, like we said before, it's like being home with that other person. But we always have to break it down like, okay, whatever's meant to be will be. If you're on this path, trust the process and know that the very, very fundamental of actually having the love that you deserve and living like heaven on earth is having a commitment to yourself first. Because when you're committed to yourself, you're also committed to your partner, because you're actually growing and evolving and healing yourself. And that actually transfers to your partner. Not to say that that's going to take the place of their own healing that they have to do, in their own growth and evolution, but it certainly does give them a boost. And again, if this other soul isn't, meant to be in your life, they're not like, your twin or somebody who's supposed to be in your life forever, then you just kind of grow apart and the attraction will fade. And then that'll be it. And maybe down the road you would go back with that person if came back into an alignment with them. But they would have to catch up to you. And we're not saying like one person is better than the other, but that's just the way it works. And that's the way that it was made to be here. Like that's the way the programming is, what they're saying. It's like a program is kind of like, this is how this was set up here in order to evolve, is that you have this other person that call it, just for, simplicity's sake, let's just call it your ascension partner. Okay. This is those who are on this twin flame journey, the twin flame path. We could just call them ascension partners, because this soul was meant to be in your life to help you ascend, and you help each other ascend because you're balancing each other. We talked about this in the live the other day, is that when one's grounding, the other one's ascending, and vice versa. And it happens at different times. And we can also say it's a balance of masculine and feminine energies, because we all have both of those energies within us. But most often you're born with you're more prevalent in one more energy that you identify with. And oftentimes they're unhealed, like there are unhealed masculine and unhealed feminine energies within us. And if you believe in past lives, sure, we were here as both genders, at some point. We probably just weren't like all born female and all born male. We kind of experienced both, but we kind of identify more as what am I saying? More as one energy. And the thing is that we have to be able to kind of get more in a balance of both. And it's not going to be like 50-50. It might be 51-49 is what, what they've said before. But when you're balanced inside and feel that union within, that's how your union manifests externally, with your partner, is you have to feel it inside of you. And if you feel it inside of you, then you feel like you are attracting that in the external. It's just a matter of time before the physical, becomes what you are energetically. That's really like a basic law that's, that we live. It's how how the program works down here. We do have a lot of control in so many ways. We're not controlling somebody else, but we have more control of our lives than some people realize. and it all has to do with us and changing our energy and healing and, raising our vibration. That's how you attract everything into your life much more easily.
Yeah.
So.
And one of the things that, because they were just saying something right now, is that at times like this idea of the masculine, divine feminine, it's very interchangeable in a way, because sometimes you feel that, say, for example, you are the designated divine feminine energy in the connection, and the other one is the masculine. At times you feel that you exchange roles because one of you is focusing more on healing aside. Like if you're masculine at a time, it's their time to really become more in tune with their intuition, their self-love, their nurturing, their compassion. You feel like, and I'm like more the grounded, I'm the one who's taking action. You feel more of the divine masculine than the other person. Like it's such a connection that is so magical, and magical in the sense that it is a pure, I feel from it is like a school of energy. Like you learn in that school, and you keep exchanging these energies between you two, because until you reach that point where you're more in balance. And at times, like, you feel maybe you need to be in your masculine energy because your twin, he has to step away and be more in his feminine. And it's like it just happens automatically and naturally, or very organic, and you don't really plan ahead for, it's not like you plan ahead. It's like you have this knowing between both of you, and because your heart is so connected, like your telepathy is connected, so it's like what to do before that person even has to ask you, and they won't even ask you, but it's like you innately and intuitively know. You just know what's going on with that person.
It's probably one of the reasons why, like, sometimes you don't have that communication, in the physical, but it's kind of like the telepathic. It's like the knowing, it's kind of like talking to each other energetically. And really, like, that's kind of like how you learn. And when you start doing that and you get that, and you really get the validation down the road, somehow you get validation that happens, all your relationships start to be like that. Like there are like, you start to like develop that with other people. But I feel like when you're with somebody and you're connected to that soul that you are very, like, very, very much so connected to, that's kind of where it starts, and that's where you develop it. And then it just kind of like, relates to every other relationship in your life. That's kind of like been my experience.
Yeah, you definitely like, I feel like you become like, you intuitively start to know what other people's feel, think, because sometimes like these people don't even need to talk to you. And at the same time, your vibration, like there's a few things that happen when you heal yourself. Your vibration rises up, your frequency rises up, your own abilities, your gifts open up so much more, your third eye opens up much more, all these energies change within yourself. So first of all, as you said, like, you manifest people who are more on your path like you, so you attract people, whether it's another partner, or attracting friends or family members who are on your same kind of vibration, so you understand each other like very, very easily, and without, like, with that telepathy and intuition. And I feel that also at the same time, your thoughts become so powerful enough that I feel that your antenna can actually send telepathic messages to other people. So you receive messages better, like, because it's a knowing, it, and it just happens again organically, naturally. You receive messages better, you send messages better, you attract the likes of you. And because your energy is really high, or like, has been elevated, you also help other people who are close to you heal themselves, and to really just, they start to work on themselves, and they themselves become more and more of your soul, like soulmates, and people around you who are so connected to that energy, and they intuitively and telepathically also start to feel themselves healing and seeing things that same way. Again, soulmates can be a partner, a lover, or companion, but also can be friends and family and coworkers. So you help yourself, but it just the energies. And that's why, we keep saying this idea of bringing heaven to earth is us becoming this love energy and this vibration. It just automatically changes people, because if you're not trying to force it on anyone, you're just being you and being yourself in the moment, because and that just changes people automatically, because people, as human beings, we are, and as beings, spiritual beings, we get, and we respond to energy, whatever that energy is. So if it's a love energy, we're meant to respond to it, and we feel it and we know it. If you're facing someone who has a love energy and vibration around them, it's part of our instincts that we just feel geared and attracted to that energy and start to understand things about it. And so that's when sometimes people feel the need that they have to keep changing others around them. I should fix this person, I should teach them to do this and do that. But I feel like, for me, at least from my perspective, it was like and that's what the guides have explained it to me, is the more you work on yourself, that in itself teaches others how you embrace your life and embrace your knowledge of love and becoming love and unconditional love. It just helps others so much to it just changes things. It's I don't know, it's like you catch it from other love. Can be something you catch from other people, and that's how
You're
we
like
change the world.
Yeah, and it's like
One
you're
person
like
at a time.
Yeah, and you're like a beacon of light, and you not only change the people or activate them or shift, whatever you want to call it, the ones that you're connected to, but you also really, I mean, if you like, take photographs like they have, like, of auras and stuff like that, those people who are at a higher vibration, their auras are just so much bigger. So they can, like, really, shift so many more people that, they don't have to be in such close proximity to. It's like, that's why we kind of have these different grid points that we go to. And, we all work together as, as light workers. And when we are shifting and changing and ascending ourselves and get into this higher vibration, we do affect that geographic location and everyone connected to that area, including our ancestors that have been there, our future, the past, present, and future. It's all related and all connected. So it's like huge things that we do, even if it's not like on a conscious level. A lot of this is like unconscious, energy. You can't see it. Some people can feel it, but it's always present, right? So we're shifting, we're moving, we're doing things, we can manipulate it, we can do so much with our energy, and we can create so much. And that's really kind of what we're doing. So
and that, as you said, like, and that's part of why we are geographically sometimes not close to each other, because our influence can be so, like, the diameter of the energy, like where it can spread, for a couple or one person is very, like, it's immense. And again, your role affects others on the grid point, or your template, your soul family. So when one person yields and anchors a new energy, or downloading an energy from the universe, other people just get it, like, because we're also we're spiritually connected. So your inner work helps so many other people, even people that many of them you don't even know, because you are soul family and soul connected. And that's one of the things that you and I have done in different things. Like, we've done every workshop that we've done together, and we visited different vortex energy areas. And when even like our upcoming workshop in Salem, we we were guided to choose specific grid points at any, for any of these workshops, right?
Yeah.
And just to be there at a specific time to anchor a specific energy that is going to expand within the grid and within the collective to heal a specific thing that we're like, and shifting us to another timeline.
Yeah, we've done so much healing. We've done so much inner work. We have so much within us that we are contributing. And the thing is that, we go to these locations and, we are still healing another layer of us and healing, our ancestors who once were in that area. But we're also taking those, like we said, like those soul fragments, and putting them back together and making these souls whole. And a lot of times it was part of us that was left behind, because we're all related somehow, we're connected. And it's also could be our children, it could be our grandchildren, it could be like our future generations. We're all doing something. But when we get together and we collaborate and we're in the same area, and especially for other people like that, have done all this work and feel that divine union inside, there is such healing and there's such synergy that affects everybody's healing, especially when they're intending to heal and they're intending to get into union within themselves and with their partners. It's like one of those things that you like, yeah, we could sit there and we can talk about these things and things will come up, and we'll, channel messages but there's other things that are happening that we can't even see. It's like these activations that you can't see, like these, like just, certain things that we be doing that all of a sudden you can get like this, the sensation of energy going through your body. Like, something happened. I like said something on one of my, like on my twin flame page is I wrote something out and the one person commented, it was almost as though she received an activation. And I said, well, that's kind of what it was, that those words she needed to hear, and it activated her to the point where she felt this immense love. And that's kind of what we're doing. And that's kind of what we do at the workshops too, is that we're, it's so we've done these online.
Yes.
And these are great to do online, but I love to like kind of be able to interact with people and you and I doing our things together, and people just feel like something has been lifted from them when they come in, even if they don't feel like there's like a lot that needs to be healed, or there's they're maybe like not really knowing what's going to happen, or they don't really have too many expectations. I'll say that word. It's like you kind of leave and you're kind of still there and you're there. Usually you'll feel it while you're there, but when you leave, it's like, wow, there's like something happened and it's bringing you to the next level, so it's really like power in numbers. It's kind of, bringing everybody together and doing so much, as a group. It's kind of like when you have that circle or that coven, and you use the full moon and you use all the energies with you, you have so much more power to do things with that in a good way. It's always in a good way. It's never like negative. It's always positive. It's about growth and love and, light energy. So it's not anything that, we've always kind of gotten, in the past with, I'll just kind of bring this up real quick for people who, may not understand this. And what we do is like, witches have been persecuted, anybody who were healers in the past, a long time ago, medieval times, they would get persecuted because they thought, they were like the devil or something like that, right? But in all honesty, it's not about, first of all, it's not about religion. It's about actually what we can do with energy to heal, and to manifest and to bring more love to the planet. And once you really understand that you have the ability to work with the energy in a way where you make it so much more powerful than if it was just you alone, you're utilizing all your resources is basically what it is. And it's almost like when you're like, say, praying, there's like a group of people and they do like, or a big meditation across the whole globe. There is like the power, that momentum, that energy, the power of intention and everything that it brings. But can you imagine if you have most of these people who are healed and at a higher vibration? It just brings so much more and so much more power to it. So I think what I was trying to get at is this is something that I know that I've heard from, maybe, I don't know, somebody that you heard from or something like that, is almost like kind of like people might like judge it a little bit. But I think it's just because they're afraid of it. They don't know what it truly is. And I think fear is really what pushes people to to persecute or judge others, is kind of,
I mean, you and I, like I think like we're on the same, like we connect so well in these workshops and in these events because we understand the energies as what they really are. So, I mean, light energy is light energy. I mean, of course, people can misuse energies, but you and I, like, and especially you and I, like a lot of the things that we do have been things that we've done in our past life. It's just very natural to who we are. And I mean, the best thing about, as you said, like having this collective group in one place at the same time, working with the energies of spring equinox, of course, at that grid point of Salem, Massachusetts, is a natural thing that, people are supposed to do rituals and events and meditate at these specific times, because I think I think humans 3D life we're the only, I think, being on this planet that does not respond to the energies outside of them. Like we want to do things our way, not what the nature and the universe's way. Like, usually like the winter time is hibernation, is you taking a step back. That's a natural thing that happens all over this planet. All the animals respond to that. But when, and that's why sometimes people get, worried or afraid maybe about, oh my God, you're going to use energy. You're going to use the natural system of life. Spring is a time of reemergence and rebirth. And that's exactly, why, maybe like those who were named witches because they said something different, or just, if you don't like your neighbor, you just go say she's a witch or he's a witch. And, this is how people did things did business in the past. But like the natural way of the ancient worlds and the ancient civilizations told us that we have to be part of the what's outside us. And, you and I were guided to the springtime because it's a time of like the phoenix rising, this reemergence of from a caterpillar to the butterfly time. It's time to step out, especially after the winter. And being in physical proximity from each other is so healing. I don't know if others have attended any twin flame workshops. You and I, we have attended, like we had another one in person in Waltham, Massachusetts, several years ago. And, I've attended and spoke at others in person. That's of course before those last 2 years of weirdness. And there's something so powerful that happens when we get together as human beings, connected by one heart, connected by one goal, which is unconditional love. And in one space, it's just, you come out of this, either meeting new people that you've never met before, and finding your tribe. You get your friends, people who are like you, understand where you are and where you're going and where you've been. And you gain so much more than just your inner union or connection with your partner. it just changes everything. And we've seen it through the years. Like every time we get together as a group, we're connected by love. And when love is the energy that is moving us forward, then how can you really go wrong? Like what can really go wrong when you're bringing love, compassion, non-judgmental space, connecting to the divine and opening your heart and forgiving other. I mean, I don't know what would be anything that, I mean, this is how we shift, we bring us back to the basics. And if you stepped away and find yourself, you're not fully aligned, then we are all here. And Donna and I in that workshop and in that space to bring you back to alignment, bring you back to the truth and what it is. And to help you see maybe things about yourself that you might not have seen before. You'll be so amazed about how gifted you are most of the time, and how connected you are to your companion. So it's always really good. And Salem is amazing. So
yeah, I'm glad you kind of brought that up too, because I do know that there are those who may have felt or don't really know how to tap into like their intuition or their gifts, because we all have it. But if you really don't know how to get there and you don't really feel like, you've been able to really successfully navigate that aspect of yourself, going to one of these things, going to this workshop and being around other people will really, really naturally just, bring it out in you. I've attended John Holland's workshop. It was a mediumship workshop for 5 days. And I was kind of just trying to tune into how to control communicating with those souls who have, crossed over, because they were just coming up at inopportune times at work, and telling me to give messages to other people. And I was just like, kind of like not getting freaked out, but really like kind of distracted by it. And I was overwhelmed. And that's why I went to this workshop. And I didn't realize how, because everybody was there for this purpose, it was like, it opened up in me, like really opened up. Like I was like spot on with it. And it was just like so natural, more than if I wasn't there. So that's kind of, I think I'm bringing that up because when you're with other people who are on the same path and we're together and, we have our gifts that we're sharing, it's going to help open you up as well. Because if that's really, this is all part of the path. You're supposed to get your own answers, and you eventually get your own answers. You're able to tap into that. It takes time though, to develop it. And if you're able to have other people who are kind of guiding you and who are kind of like your mentors who have been through it as well, and just to kind of give you that boost, it'll help like activate and open you up. Because I was like, really like, it was just crazy how that being in those kind of like that kind of a group setting really does do wonders for what, you never may have thought was going to be so easy. It'll come maybe a little bit more, you won't have to work as hard. It'll just kind of like be more natural for you. It's just going to open things up for you. And that's really all part of ascension too. When you get to a certain level, something else will open up for you. And then, then you go further along, something more will open up for you. You start to develop your gifts and abilities more, but it's going to be all supernatural. That's really kind of what it is. When we're ascending to this 5-day, we're like, sometimes be like, hey, like, this is kind of like, like an extraterrestrial here, like we have all these things that are happening and you can't see them, but you can actually sense them and know that they're present, and you can talk without talking. It's kind of like the wave of the future, right? I mean, we're like creating this new world that, we're not having to, you have to truly be authentic, because any kind of bullshit or anything that, you are trying to hide, that person is going to know and see right through you. Right. So it's really, I just wanted to kind of bring that up because it's really amazing how much you can get. And it's not just being in a twin flame partnership or having this divine union with another person. It's having that within yourself, but also everything opening up for you so you can actually tap into that feeling of heaven. And when you feel like you're in heaven, like you feel heaven within you, is when you're anchoring it, and you're anchoring it into this earth. Because what you feel is really kind of like, it doesn't matter what you see, because what you feel is really what the truth is. If we could all kind of like reprogram ourselves to know that feeling that you have, like the feeling, say that you're with, you're in union with your twin, even if they're not physically with you, you're anchoring that. That's going to be, that's already there. That's happening in another timeline. It's kind of what was like, told to me, that you are living almost like parallel lives. You have multiple lives going on at the same time. So when you feel that union, it's happening. Okay. So how do you get to that timeline? It's just a matter of like the activations and the shifts within yourself to get you to that higher timeline. And it's all possible. And I say, you never want to say it's going to happen. You have to say it is happening. You have to, it's not like you're fooling yourself or fooling the universe. You have to really feel it. You can't say I'm feeling like I'm in union when you feel like you're totally not. That doesn't work. You have to get there. And the only way you can get there is if you heal, and get to that point of that higher vibration. And it's just natural. It'll just naturally occur. It's not overnight, right? It takes time, like anything else, depending on how much you have to heal. But you know what? You have to have fun while you're doing it. This journey is full of twists and turns and ups and downs. But I can tell you one thing that I've learned being on this journey is that I would never, ever give any parts of it up. All the pain that I've been through, all the tears, all the lows were met with the highs, like, and then some. But then you get to this place of more like even keeled, right? You're more balanced. So you then, like, again, it'll like start to go up and down a little bit again, because you are going up to another level again, and then you got to recalibrate again. So I would never give this up. This has like been the best years of my life. And then meeting you, sister, is like, I mean, I don't know. Like, I just feel like there's been
And
so
we met
much.
at a Twin Flame workshop too. Like, this is when the first time we actually met. So we built this amazing sisterhood. And
Yeah.
what do I want to say? Because like you said, like something really important, like that we have fun doing it. And I love this idea that especially like when, you and I, when we're doing these workshops, we're not really working, we're just being who we are at that moment. Like, we're just being all there, and we're being very, very present. And because we channel information, and we are just tuned into the divine, and we bring in the right information for the person, or whatever that person in attendance needs to hear at that moment in time. And there's so much learning that happens. You never can really know. There's like, expect the unexpected, and going through it, and then once you tune in and become so present in the energies, the time passes so quickly. And like, after you're done, you just like, I know a lot of people have a harder time connecting with others, like the first few, including us, the first few days after we're done from a workshop, because you're just like in another elevated level of energy. You're like in a high, but it's a good high. You're fully there, but like, you start to see, the possibilities, the potential, the timelines, what is available to you, what the divine wants you to have. You really see it and you feel it. And it changes your life after it. It shifts you to a higher timeline. Like, we've heard different kinds of positive things that happen with people, of course, depending on your journey. Some, it just depends on where you are, but like, how it feels with your divine partner, definitely it becomes elevated as well. So we're pretty excited for those who can join us, and there's information with the details of this video, and you can definitely connect with either one of us or Facebook or in any of our groups or on YouTube. And I guess we're almost at time, but we if anybody has a last minute question, we'd love to take it. So can just write it in the comments and we'll be happy to answer it. If we're seeing none, we'll, maybe you and I can words of wisdom to end this video. But if anybody has a question that would, okay. Would love to see you more. I would love to see you there.
I would, yeah. Well, Mara, you were at the one workshop we met in person. Was it Waltham, right? That was the first time that
she was there.
And I've seen so much. You've grown so much.
I've seen her
We've
other
all
events
grown,
too.
but I mean, really, like, you put your book out, I mean, you've done amazing things. So we would love to connect with you again and see you. But again, it's like these workshops, they do something for us, for all of us, and
Yes.
and I hope that your son is gets better soon. So we'll send in prayers.
Yeah. Anybody else? If anybody else has another question, please feel free to connect with us. Send it in the comments. The workshop again is going to be the spring equinox, March 19th and the 20th at the Salem Waterfront Hotel. And there's information about the place. It's in a really nice area. So there's you can walk toward like spiritual stores, restaurants. It's a lovely place in Salem. And there are like plenty of other, even if you're looking for a hotel, there's, so many different kinds of accommodation around, the Salem waterfront, but it's a great location and it's by the water and it's got restaurants around it and all kinds of stores that Salem is very famous for. So we're pretty excited about that. And it seems like the weather actually, should look really nice in Massachusetts, hopefully next weekend.
Yeah, it's got a lot of activities going on, and you could even make it more of like a long weekend if you wanted to kind of just like have, do things on your own. But so far the agenda is Saturday. It's a pretty full day. It's I don't know. I don't even remember what was it like. It'll be
like 9 to 5 or like.
Is it 9 to 5? I couldn't remember if it was 9 to 5.
It's a full day, so it's definitely a full day, and it's going to be like an intense full day. It's going to be so much happening. Throughout the day.
And then Sunday is just like the half a day, so you'll have all Sunday. And if you come Friday, we can have dinner together on Friday evening. If you desire, we can kind of all meet up. And that's kind of what we did at our last live workshop, which was really nice to kind of get together and just like on an informal basis. Again, this is not going to be a formal thing, like meaning that, it's going to be like, being in school or anything like that. But, when you're like out socializing and eating and stuff like that, it's a, it has a different kind of feel to it. So yeah, we would love to see you guys there. And, if there's anything that you have any questions about, feel free to get in touch with any, either of us. But I didn't know, like, did you want to channel something? I'm just like thinking like, what
if you're open to it, I know like, you want to pull cards or what do we do?
Well, I think I want to be like just a few minutes, just because I was like, I didn't even know.
I know, but I would love to continue talking. You know how the conversation is just like, it just keeps bringing things up over and over, like different things.
I feel like this is fun. Like, I feel like it's fun, you know?
I know you and I would probably will have, could continue talking to the end of the night. And this is how it is, and when we do
Yeah.
like workshops or spend doing the grid point, healings that we've done together, it's just like, it just flows like that. And I actually pulled the card before I went to the live, and our Native American guide said, like, the free flowing, go away like that, like the water, be like water, just keep flowing. There, like, one of the things that I just came to me, that our spirit guides are really proud of how things have been manifesting for many of us. They're seeing the hard work and acknowledging those who have maybe felt disempowered in the past, but now they feel so empowered in their journey, and they're making decisions from their heart, and they're choosing love over their ego or over other like low vibrational energies that maybe in the past that they have done so, and they feel like, some of them maybe even feeling guilt or regret that they used to think that way. But the guys that really want to reassure them that it is natural, and they don't want to feel guilty, because they had to go through these lower timelines in order for them to recognize the higher timelines. They're definitely like want to make sure that we don't feel the guilt, because guilt in itself is brings your energy down when you're in a higher vibration of healing. So they're definitely feeling that many of us, like, love that kind of support and needed to hear this kind of message. And they're saying, like, I'm seeing, like, they're also saying that many who are on the twin flame journey, they find themselves now at crossroads, feeling that they might be polarized because of what's happening in the world, and even in their unions, and feeling, should I continue, should I change? So it's like, between, again, like, they're showing me that your twin flame union is the spiritual life versus the physical life, which is, for example, politics and material world around us. So they're feeling that many feel conflicted between both, like feeling this, they show me that crossroad. And they're saying to them, you don't have to choose either or, you really have to choose what love brings the most. So they want us to remember that this unconditional love space is meant to heal our physical lives and heal ourselves and heal everything. This is how they're telling you it is a way of life. So there's no choice here between the material and the twin flame union. It's like you have to follow what brings love into your life and what fulfills you with love, and what can they say emanate from you, what love can emanate from you outside. So this is how you make choices. So there is no either or, it is what is I'm going to choose. It's not either I should choose the spiritual or the physical. It's like, what is it that I am actually following and choosing? So they're saying now, like, I don't know, they're making a reference to Salem, Massachusetts at that time. There is an important reason why, they're saying that you and I got guided to this place at this specific energy point, at this specific equinox time. It's because there is something really important about the Salem grid at this time, especially in the East Coast of the United States, because it's going to connect East and West. So if we want to really heal our physical lives and heal the world around us, they're saying, and even like I'm listening to this and saying, people are going to think that I'm talking about my workshop because it's my workshop, but they are actually showing me that and you and I got guided to this place. They're saying that because it's in this fault line, they're showing fault line and grid line, that if you're really concerned about your physical life and what's happening physically in the world, so again, they're referring to those specifically who feel this rift between the spiritual and the physical. They're saying, if you really want, for example, if you chose that, no, I'm just going to focus on the physical or whatever, they're saying that this is going to be an important grid point healing that's going to happen around the equinox energy, because again, they're showing me the East and the West. So it's like, it's geographical location in itself is going to spread immensely all places. like east, west. They're just showing me the whole globe. And that's why it's important that more of the collective tunes into that energy point. So even there'll be people attending the workshop, so they're going to be there in physical to anchor this energy, because we need the physical bodies, like we need the physical count. But also, as many people who maybe they won't be able to attend, if they're spiritually connected to this grid point and they feel guided to bring their energy to Salem at the time, it's like we're going to expand so much the effects of the spring equinox energy. So we need physical bodies in the presence, and at least you and I are definitely going to be there. But for those attending, and having the collective also tuning in and supporting Salem in a way, or sending positive thoughts towards the Salem grid point, then our influence is going to be so magnified, and the collective will feel it. Like they're very, very strongly asserting that right now. So like nothing is happening haphazardly. Like, make sure that you're tuning into the right people, the people who are embracing light and who are actually helping you become more independent in your journey. You're not dependent on them to tell you what to do, or, as you were saying earlier, I think that's what they're referring to. Is like they want to make sure that people are tuned into those who are here to bring unconditional love and compassion and love towards all humanity, no matter what their choices are. So they want to make sure that we're definitely, like, more people will tune in to others who are like that, because there's so much fraud outside, and people using people's need for love or partnership to make them hooked on or addicted to a specific person or something. They're talking about addictions too. So they want us to be very vigilant with our energies, because many are going to be wanting to latch on our personal energies too. Like, not that, like, we can definitely heal others and help others, but they want to make sure that we are choosing, there's a word that I'm trying to say, choosing more authentic interactions with people, or people who want to be authentic with you. This will be a good guide for many people as we go along. I don't know why they're showing me right now the Salem witch trials, and the idea that I think that what they're trying to say here is that, some might feel coming in, in the coming days or coming time, that they will feel persecuted, and others are trying to attack them, not in physical, but like people are going to just be arguing against you and trying to make you, be misaligned with your journey. So they're just telling you, like, stay strong and keep connecting to your tribe, because your tribe is going to help you remember who you are and why you're here, and to also, like, not fight back the way, maybe in the past you used to fight back, but like send love and be more of an embodiment of love, and don't get sucked into those energies who just want you. They're going to, like, waste your energy. So we have to be very, like, connected to the divine, and just be like, and flow like the river. Yeah, that just came in. So
Beautiful.
thank you, sister.
I'm glad you did that. I was going to do something, but I think it's kind of, we're running out of time. I think you kind of hit the nail on the head. Your channeling was very soothing. I would say, like, it's soothing and very peaceful, and very good information for people to know. And that knowing that how much we can impact the world of just being there. There's definitely, it's more than just us. It's like that synergy that we have. So it's all good stuff.
All good stuff. Can't wait for it. It's going to be really exciting. So
Yeah.
I'll be happy to see what happens after it too. So I'm like jumping, like, on myself, like my planning ahead on what I'm going to see, but I have to stay in the moment and just let it be.
Yeah.
But it's exciting. I know there will be good things changing and timelines shifting. There's no
I think
doubt.
like what, and like I think I said the other day when we did the live, is how sometimes we try to visualize or manifest something that we're trying to visualize, that we think we want or desire. But they're saying that you can't even visualize this because things are going to be so out of this world that you can't like actually even, know what's coming. It's going to be a good surprise, so things that are going to open up for people are things that they may not even thought of, and I'm just kind of curious again as to what that entails, because I love all the supernatural stuff. Like even as a kid, like, I mean, I loved, the feeling of knowing that there's something outside of ourselves that are, I always knew, I was always tapped into that, and spirits and, doing like witchy stuff as a child, like all that stuff was from past lives. And again, like we bring that forward into our current lives. So I'm just curious, like, I would love to know, like, this is like, I'm so curious to know, like, what else is going to happen? How are we going to be able to, open ourselves up to be able to use our gifts to help, Earth and the collective and our relationships and everything. It's a very exciting time. And I just feel like now it gets better and better. It seems like everything always gets better and better. So we're just like building, the more we heal, the better we get, so it's just a natural progression, I guess. So
Yeah.
I guess we got to wrap
Expect the
this up.
unexpected.
Yeah.
Whatever we channel is what's going to come. So
Exactly.
whatever spirit decides and what we get guided to by the divine at the time.
So
Hey, that's been lovely, sister. We're happy. We thank everyone who has joined the live. And even if you're watching this on replay, please forgive the first few minutes until we got things moving with the video. We're not technical savvy, that I would tell you. There's a lot to learn. But we're happy that you joined or listened to the video or watch us live. And we thank you for your time. And again, if you need to reach any one of us, like feel free to connect. You'll find all the information below the video or, from YouTube and our Facebook. And we'll say good night. And for those, like, happy upcoming equinox and full moon.
Yeah.
Thank you,
And
Donna,
thank you
for
for
joining
having me. Thank you. I'm so glad I was able to do this. Like, and
Yes.
like an hour before, I was like throbbing in pain with my, I just had that extraction yesterday. So I feel like I was a blessing that they were able to take this away from me so I can actually, make some sense tonight.
Out with the old, in with the new.
Exactly. But thank you for having me too. This is great.
Thanks, Donna, for being here. And I'm sure we'll have you more time. So
yeah.
Goodbye, everyone. Thank you.
Bye.